What is going on, guys? You're back with another video today, and you guys have probably seen a couple of other guys doing prediction videos, and last year I did a whole series where we predicted every single week. We did all right on that. I think we were like 70% correct, if I'm not mistaken, which is not bad considering the NFL is just so wild. So there's a few things I want to say before the video starts. I know there's going to be people disliking the video and being butthurt and whatnot. You got to remember, this is all predictions. It's almost impossible to know every single situation across the entire NFL. Maybe your team signed, like you're the Browns, and Mac Wilson's going to be huge for you guys, or, some guy, Tyree Jackson ends up going to the Broncos. He ends up starting for an injured Flacco, and he just goes off, Things like that I may not know, and it just could come out of nowhere. That's just how beautiful the sport is. So instead of maybe disliking the video or hating on it, dislike it if you want, I suppose, but maybe let me know in the comment section who I got wrong and tell me why I'm wrong. I would much rather have a conversation than for somebody to just dislike the video or leave a bad comment and then never engage. Because obviously there's going to be somebody that's, I think the Dolphins are going to go 16-0 this year, which just isn't going to happen, unfortunately, for you guys if you're Dolphins fans. And there may be some bias for the Packers. I don't know. We'll see. But I think this is the way C4 did it, and I kind of like it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the regular season. We're going to go through each team. I'm going to talk a little bit about each team. I don't want this video to be 30 minutes long. And, we'll give wins that way. Once again, I'm trying to remember every single roster. There's 2,000 players in the NFL, so it's not easy. Packers will probably do last. I'm just hoping this doesn't get too messy. I'm going to try and do this by the division every time. But it's going to be tough, okay? I really don't want to work with the Bengals at all right away. Sorry, I'm not doing that. Let's go with the Browns first, I suppose. But also, I wanted to mention that tomorrow will be the first NBA 2K20 video. We're going to give it a go. I would stream it, but honestly, the main thing I'll be doing is like my player and then probably Pro-Am, perhaps. So, there's really not a whole lot you could stream with that, in my opinion. But maybe we'll see. But let's go with the Browns. We're going to start the Browns off with a win over the Titans. I think the Titans are a really good team, and obviously they have a lot of potential. Once again, the Browns are a team that look really good on paper, but it's not guaranteed. Then you have the Jets. I don't think the Jets are ready. They don't have enough offensive firepower. Bell's a big start, but I think Darnold still needs help. Their offensive line has improved, but there's still a lot to worry about. I think the Rams will take the win over the Browns, however, even though Gurley, we still don't know what kind of Gurley we're going to see, and Goff I still don't trust as a QB even after that extension. They have still such a deep roster. The Ravens are a very good team, and I think they can out-scheme the Browns, but once again, I think the talent on the Browns is too good. I think the Niners are going to shock people this year. They're going to win that game. Seattle with Clowney, I think they're going to win. The Seahawks, I don't know how they do it. They somehow stay a good roster even with lacking pieces. Then you have the Browns versus the Patriots. The Patriots are going to win a lot of games this year. They really will, once as usual, especially with a weaker AFC with some of these trades and the retirement of Luck. Denver Broncos, obviously they're just not going to win. Bills, they're just not a great team. I think at home, the Browns take the first game versus the Steelers. The Browns win over the Dolphins. I think they're going to split the series with the Steelers overall, though. Bengals will lose. Cardinals will lose. Ravens will split as well. And I think the Browns sweep the Bengals. So far we have the Browns going 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, 3-4. But then they make a turnaround. 4-4, 5-4, 6-4, 7-4, 7-5, 8-5, 9-5, 9-6, 10-6. A 10-6 record for the Browns, I think, is a very fair guess. So we're going to move on to their rivals, the Steelers. Let's go with the Steelers now. Steelers versus the Patriots. It's a very legendary matchup, but we're going to go with the Patriots. Like I said, I think they're going to win a lot of games. Steelers versus the Seahawks. I'm going to go with the Seahawks, man. I don't know. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. Steelers beat the Niners. The Steelers beat the Bengals. The Steelers lose to the Ravens here. They lose to the Chargers. They obviously beat the Dolphins. They beat the Colts. It's a tough one because Jacoby still might be decent. Week 9, he's going to be ready. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't see it. We already have that finished. I think they're going to sweep the Bengals, beat the Cardinals. They're going to beat the Bills. I think the Jets are going to steal one on the Steelers. and then they're going to split with the Ravens. Actually, did we do that already? No, we didn't. Okay, we did that. So now let's go to the Ravens. I think the Ravens are going to shock some teams this year, depending on their schedule here. The Chiefs, I think, are going to be a lot worse, but I still think they're a better roster than the Ravens. The Ravens beat the Bengals. I don't really think the Bengals are a great team at all. The Ravens beat the Seahawks. The Ravens, no, they're not going to beat the Patriots. They could, obviously. I might be wrong. I think the Bengals are going to sweep the Ravens. Yeah, I'll give them that. Texans, I think they're going to do pretty well this year. They're going to lose to the Rams here. They're going to beat the Niners. Are they going to beat the Niners? I mean, some of these may change, obviously. Like this Ravens one right now might not even be a winning season. Some of these may change. Let's go to the Bengals, who I think are going to be kind of rough. So Seattle beats the Bengals. The Niners beat the Bengals. The Bengals beat the Bills. We already have that settled. The Bengals beat the Cardinals. Bengals will beat the Jaguars, I think. Obviously, the Rams win there. I'm going to give the Raiders the win there. I think they're going to beat the Jets. The Patriots are going to win, and then they're going to win against the Dolphins. Once again, I'm not 100% sure what every single one is like here. You know, it's going to be hard for me to keep track of this, but we're going to go as best as we can. Raiders beat the Broncos. The Bears beat the Broncos. The Packers beat the Broncos. The Jags beat the Broncos. Chargers beat the Broncos. Titans beat the Broncos. Chiefs beat them. Colts lose to the Broncos. I think Jacoby's going to struggle in a game versus still a pretty decent defense. Vikings beat them. They win against the Bills. Or they beat Bills both times? No, they're not even. Again, what am I talking about? Chargers win. Texans win. I think they're going to split with the Chiefs. They're going to beat the Lions. And I think they split with the Raiders. So that may be like a 5-10 season. Now go to the Raiders, who I think are a bit better of a team than maybe teams give them credit for. The Raiders, and I think the Vikings are going to be better than teams give them credit for. The Raiders are going to... This is a very early game. I'm going to give the Raiders the win. I think the Colts aren't going to be ready for the game that early on. The Raiders, something's telling me they're going to beat us, but I don't. Maybe not. Texans will win. Lions... I thought we already did this. Lions are going to lose to the Raiders. Chargers will win. Bengals, we already did. The Jets, I'm going to give the win to the Jets here. The Chiefs, I'm going to give the Chiefs the sweep. Titans, I'm going to give them the win. I'm going to give the Raiders the win over the Jags. Chargers sweep them, and then, we've done that. Did the Broncos sweep them here? Okay, no, they didn't. Fair enough. Let's go with the Chargers now, who I think are a very good team. They're going to win week 1. They're going to win week 2. They're going to lose week 3. They're obviously going to beat the Dolphins. They're going to beat the Titans. The Bears, I think this is a very good matchup. I think the Chargers definitely have the better offense. I think the Melvin Gordon situation is really going to be the decider between this matchup, especially right on the deadline kind of era. They may have him for this game. I'm not really sure what's going to go down yet. I don't even know if he's going to play. I'm actually having a tough one with this. I'm going to give it to the Chargers. They're just a really good team. Chargers beat the Packers. The Chargers beat the Jags. The Vikings beat the Chargers, which is a good one. And then the Chiefs, they're going to split. So I think that's a pretty good. Now there's certain teams that I know are going to make the playoffs. I got to make sure I'm not, just making mistakes. Here we go with the Chiefs. So we're going to give the Chiefs the win over the Jags. They beat the Raiders. So that's 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 4-2, 5-2. I think the Packers are going to win this one. 5-3, 6-3, 7-3, 7-4, 8-4. This one's a good matchup. I'm going to wait for that one. Was it 8-4, 8-5, 8-6, 9-6. I'm going to give them the win over the Patriots. So 10-6 for the Chiefs. So that division's done as well. Let's go with the AFC South. The Chargers. I think they're going to really... The Chargers. The Colts are going to really struggle early on. So I'm going to give them some losses here. The Falcons are going to be back. So they're going to start the season with a record of 0-3. It's going to be like oh God, what did Andrew Luck do? 0-4 apparently. 0-5 apparently. Ooh, now I'm really debating things here. I'm going to give them the win over the Raiders now instead. They're going to beat the Texans in their first matchup, I think. Denver is going to win against them. I really give them the Denver matchup? There's no way Denver's going to beat them. I know I said it was a good defense, but no, it's not. It's not good enough. They're going to split with, I think they're going to split with pretty much the entire division. So that's what we're going to say. I think the Colts are still going to be a pretty good team here, but not good enough. I don't think they're going to make the playoff. No, they're going to beat the Jags twice, I think. So this is a roster that is 0-2, 0-3, 1-3, 1-4, 2-4, 3-4, 3-5, 4-5, 5-5, 5-6, 5-7, 6-7, 6-8. So I give them, what is this, a 7-9 record? I mean, that's kind of fair. It's, you know, Andrew Luck. No Andrew Luck changes the entire dynamic. It's a huge. I mean, there's a reason why he took up a lot of cap space. You know, you don't get a monster deal if you suck. So the Titans, we have them already with 1-1. They'll beat the Jags first game. 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, 4-2, 4-3, 5-3, 5-4, 5-5. What do we have the Jags on this? They're going to split with the Jags, so 5-6, 6-6, 7-6, 7-6, 8-6. I'm going to give them a record of 8-8, which is, it's a tough one because I think the Titans are a decent team. They're one of those teams that are actually real boom or bust. I think they have a lot of young talent. I just don't know if they're really ready yet. Saints are going to win a lot of games, so we're going to give the Saints a benefit of the doubt most of the time. So the Texans, I think, are definitely the best team in the South. At least 11 wins, I think. 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, 6-1, 7-1, 7-2, 8-2, 9-2, 9-3, 10-3, 10-4, 11-4, and then 12-4. That really works out pretty damn well. So the Texans going 11-4 here. I'm trying to go as quick as I can. Not even just for you guys, but my brain is starting to melt. I'm just saying. So 0-1. Jesus is hurting. 0-2, 0-3, 3-1. So here are the wins so far. Tampa Bay is not going to win many games. I think I actually have this this Jags team winning a bit. I think that's about 6 or 7 games. I'm not exactly sure. I think we have completed every AFC team except for the East. So we will move on there with the Dolphins being the #1 team, winning at most probably 2 games. So the Ravens beat them. The Patriots beat them. Even though the Patriots have lost a few games against them in their time, I'm going to give the Dolphins the win over the Redskins. I know the Redskins aren't as bad as people think, but that QB situation, I just don't feel it's going to be solid for them this year. The Bills and them are going to split, so we're going to give them a split. I think the Jets sweep them. Bills lose one of them, right? Okay, so the Bills lost one of them. Right now it's a 2-win team. Once again, I think the Jets are going to sweep them. The Giants, I think this late in the season, Daniel Jones could be the starter, so I think there's a chance. We're going to give the Dolphins a 2-14 season. I'm sorry. I know the Dolphins are coming off of a 7-9 record, and I know they actually somehow do really well with the talent they have, and I'll give them credit for that, but I think this is the year where they really, go for the tank. You can't, as a Dolphins fan, at least not see that they're obviously going for Tua, or they're just, setting up for the future, because you just don't trade a franchise left tackle and wide receiver. Well, he's not a franchise wide receiver, and a good wide receiver for that many draft picks if you're ready to go, Like an offensive lineman, especially a tackle, is so valuable. So I think I'm going to give the Redskins probably like a 7-9 record if I can, kind of like last year. So Eagles win the first game, Cowboys win the second game, the Bears win the third game. The Redskins finally get their first win. They're now 1-4. They're now... Did I give the Dolphins the win over the Redskins? I did just now, didn't I? Yikes. I don't think the Niners are going to be good. I just don't think they're going to win that game. The Redskins beat the Bills. I think the Redskins are good enough to beat most of the East. We're going to have the Lions over the Redskins. And I know as a Redskins fan, it's going to hurt you. Panthers, something tells me they're going to lose a wild one. The Packers usually lose to the Redskins, so I'm going to give the Redskins the win there, honestly. The Redskins beat the Giants, Cowboys. So I don't know. Let's take a look. So I gave the Redskins a 7-9 record. Things are working out pretty well here. I'm liking So far, I'm liking some of the decisions. Let's go against the Giants. Let's go against them, but Cowboys win. Giants beat Buffalo, so 1-1. 2-1. 2-2. 2-3. 2-4. 4-4. 4-5. 5-5. Uh-oh. 5-6. 5-7. 5-8. 6-8. 6-9. 6-10. So 6-10 record for the Giants. A slight improvement. Nothing that's going to get you going, though. And, more questions over there. The Eagles are going to win the division, I think, with an 11-5 record. So 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. This one's a tough one. 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. I think they're going to lose to the Vikings, though. So 5-1, 5-2, 6-2, 6-3, 6-4, 6-5. Uh-oh. 7-5, 8-5, 9-5, 10-5, 11-5. Perfectly worked out there. Oh no, the season's over, but boom, last second, come back on top, take the division. So the Saints win this one, so that's a 3-1 start. The Packers have had their number, so 3-2, 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, 7-2, 8-2, 8-3, 9-3, 9-4, 9-5, 9-6, 10-6. That's actually almost perfect. So far, this has gone very well for me, in my opinion. We are down to 3 last divisions. I don't want this video to be that long, but, this will look a lot better when we're actually done with this. Like, you guys will be able to actually see everything. So, I'm going to try to go a little bit quicker. Maybe instead of talking about it, we're just going to do it. Cardinals beat the... Nah, the Lions are going to beat the Cardinals. Cardinals lose that one, too. Their Cardinals are going to lose a lot of games, man. Like, a lot of games. Give that to the Giants. Jesus, do I even have the Cardinals winning a game at this rate? Cardinals will split with them. Cardinals will beat the Buccaneers, I think. Damn, the Cardinals actually have a really tough schedule. So, even if they were a great team, they would still have some issues, I think. The Falcons, I have them doing well, but with all the games we gave them losing, it's a 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, 4-2, 4-3, 5-3, 5-4, 5-5, 6-5. They're gonna split with the Saints. 7-5, 8-5, 8-6, 9-6. 9-7. I think that's a fair guess, honestly. There were some injuries. They're going to be healthy, though, so I'm a little worried. The Rams, even with the questions. This isn't the Rams, it's the Panthers. What are you doing? So 1-1, 2-1 for the 2-2, 2-3, 3-3, 4-3, I think. 5-3. Packers win that one. 5-4, 6-4, 6-5. 6-6, 6-7. Ooh, this one's tough. Panthers beat the Seahawks, so 6-7, 7-7, 8-7. They're gonna split 9-7 Panthers. I think that's fair, but oof, man, this is a tough one. So the Saints, I think, are gonna win probably 12 to 13 games. All right, we have a 12-win Saints team. I have them surprisingly losing to the Niners. That's the team I have them surprisingly losing to. I think they have a great line, but I think the Niners defensive line is going to be sick this year. It's going to be a team to be reckoned with. And do we have one final team here? I think we did every other team. We didn't do the Niners, actually. Forgot about the Niners. Niners win, so there's 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, 3-4. Really, the Cardinals? 3-5. Giving the Niners this win. 4-5. 5-5. 5-6. 5-7. 6-7. 7-7. 7-8. 7-9. A 7-9 record for the Niners, who once upon a time had a second pick overall, is not terrible. It's a pretty big improvement. And now, finally, the division that matters the most to me, Let's go with the Lions first. We have the Lions losing. A lot of the games already are pretty set up. I think the Packers, it's going to be hard for them to really sweep the Lions anytime soon. So I think the Lions are going to steal one from the Packers and the Vikings. But they're going to lose to the Bears twice. I'm not exactly sure what we have them going here. Probably like 4 or 5 wins. I don't know. The NFC North is actually a really good division, so this one's going to be tough. The Lions fans, I think if anyone's going to dislike this video the most, I would say it's Lions fans. It's going to be a split one between the Packers and Vikings, I think. Bears, I think, will lose one game, though. Do we have the Vikings winning? So the Vikings win at home, and then they lose at the Packers home. Okay, there we go. So that's good. Now we move on to the Bears, who I think are going to go 10-6. Can I get that to be proper, though? First game, Packers win that game. So that's 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 5-1. Ooh, 6-1, 7-1, 8-1, 8-2, 9-2, 10-2, 11-2, 12-2, 13-2, 13-3. Do I really have them going 13-3 though? Do we have them? I'm gonna have the Saints winning that game then. So Saints are gonna win 14 games, I think. I think the Saints and the Chargers are the 2 most complete teams. Finally, on to the Packers. Let's see what we actually have them going here, because most of the games are already solved. Because obviously, you have to play every single team. They actually are solved. So we have the Packers going 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 3-1, 3-2. No, it's stupid. 5-1, 6-1, 7-1, 7-2, 8-2, 9-2, 10-2, 10-3, 10-4, 10-5, 10-6. So we have the Packers going 10-6. We have the Packers off to a hot start and then choking the season. However, just barely sneaking in the playoffs. Hopefully that's the way it is. I honestly don't remember everything. I have the Packers making the playoffs, though. I would be very disappointed if we got off to that hot of a start and then we choked away the season to go 10-6. But I think that's fair. Honestly, this went a lot better than I thought, because it's very hard to keep track of who you have winning, which team has what, whose roster is better, whose roster is stronger, who's going to get injured, who's not. So I think overall, there's going to be dislikes, obviously, but I think this is one of the better ones I've seen so far of the predictions. No crazy record things like where somebody goes 16-0 or anything. So you have the Packers at 10-6. We'll take a look at, according to my guessing, well, first things first, we're going to take a look at the standings real quick. I don't want this video to be too long, but I'm starting to think it's going to be. So 13-3 Saints, 12-4 Chargers, 13-3 Rams, 12-4 Patriots, 11-5. I really like this. I give the Ravens 11 wins. Did I forget to do something there? There's going to be a mistake here somewhere. Did I forget? I forgot to do some of the teams, I think. But I'm not really seeing anything that I don't like. Let me see if there's something I don't like. Buccaneers, I think they'll win maybe more than that, but I'm not sure. Dolphins, fair. Cardinals, fair. Raiders, probably 6 wins. Bills, fair. Broncos, fair. Bengals, Lions, fair. Giants, Jags, fair. I like all those. Which one do I not like? Jets, I would like to be at about 7 wins. But yeah, other than that, I like the prediction. I like it. Ravens maybe a little lower, like 9 wins max. But yeah, I think that's good. That was kind of what I was aiming for. Take a look at the NFL leaders in yardage and all that. Packers, Aaron Rodgers. That'd be a decent season. The completion percentage is really what I'm looking for there, and it's very good. I would take that season any day of the week. Tom Brady goes off and wins pretty much MVP. Matt Ryan goes off. Aaron Rodgers, the 3rd most yards. A little bit higher percentages for these guys, but so far I'm liking it. Drew Brees, not terrible. Wentz, that would be a really good season for him. Goff, really good season. They obviously have the QBs going a little bit, doing a little bit better than they should. Andrew Luck as a Bronco. Hello. Sam Darnold. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I like that. Todd Gurley still leads the NFL in yards. I'm not sure that's true. Zeke, probably number 1. Bell. Kamara, maybe a little bit higher than that. Too high, I think. Maybe 1,200 yards. Mark Ingram, that would be an amazing season. Aaron Jones, I think it could happen just because I think we are going to run the ball a lot more this year. Saquon, maybe a little bit more rushing yards. But yeah, other than, some of the names, Adrian Peterson, a little bit too high, I like this. I like that so far. Receiving the most yards, most catches goes to Devontae, which is super fair. Makes so much sense. Julio, decent. So the most yards goes to Keenan. Barely below him is Devontae. Not really doing as much per reception. Even though I think Devontae is one of the most elusive receivers in the league, he is one of those guys that is like a possession type at the same time. So it makes sense to me. Most touchdowns goes to Keenan. Michael Thomas, Julio gets, finally gets up there. I'll take it. I'll take it. So let's take a look at the sack totals now. Sacks, Myles Garrett, Clowney. I don't really care about that too much. It doesn't matter. Cameron Wake. So the sack totals are very poor in Sims, so we're not going to follow that. Pick totals, I don't think Tyrann Mathieu is going to have that kind of a season. McGilmore could. Sherman could. Lattimore could. Amos, maybe. I'd say maybe 3 or 4, though. I mean, I'm fine with these numbers. These numbers look pretty good. Kicking, I don't know if you guys really care about that. If you do, pause it when you see what you like. Don't care about kick returns. Offensive yardage, the Packers are number 1, apparently. But how much of the points, though, that's what matters. MVP goes to Brady, with Matt Ryan not too far behind. Looking at the AFC Player of the Year, Brady, Thomas Davis. Again, I'm not worried about that. Marquise Brown. Who's on the other side? I'm not... Could be, honestly. Who knows? Ed Oliver, that's a fair one because, he's actually a really good player. Bit of a steal. Patriots, Tom Brady, best QB. Best running back, I'd probably say will go to Bell. Receiver, makes sense. Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, Odell maybe. O-line, don't really matter. That's kind of just random. Myles Garrett, best D lineman probably goes to J.J. Watt. Best linebacker probably goes to Von Miller, but I don't know if that's... Is there really even a best linebacker in real life? I don't remember ever seeing something like that. I don't know if that's just a Madden thing or not. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Matt Ryan. Rodgers at 6. Fred Warner, best defensive player. I would probably go to Bobby Wagner. Offensive Rookie of the Year probably will be Kyler Murray. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Devin White has a good chance. However, at 1-15, do you really give it to him? I'd say it's between Bosa and Devin White. Matt Ryan off, QB of the Year, best running back, Todd. The NFC side seems to be a little bit more accurate, and then I say that, and the defensive side is just ridiculous. Aaron Donald, best D lineman for sure. Best linebacker. Did I say Wagner for the AFC side, by the way? Best linebacker, probably Wagner or Mack. DB doesn't really matter. Kicker doesn't matter. Robbie Gould does make a lot of sense there, though. Let's get the playoffs done, and hopefully this video isn't 50 minutes long. It's already 30. Great. So in the wildcard round, we have the Texans and Chiefs. I'm going to give it to the... Damn it. I'm going to give it to the Chiefs for their experience. I know it's kind of weird to say, but I'd say so. The Bears win this one. The Ravens and Browns, I'll give it to the Browns. And now this would be the worst matchup. I would hate to play the Eagles in the playoffs. I think the Eagles are a much better team. My bias is showing here. My bias is showing. Do I really want my bias to show? I don't think the Packers match up well with the Eagles. Eagles DB core is actually kind of deep now. D-line's great. I think the Packers can match up well with the Eagles offense, though. I think it's going to be a very close game. I'm going to give the Packers the win here. I don't like myself for that one. That one's really tough. I don't like it. I really just don't. Oh, it's in Philly, too. Ooh. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We're playing the Saints, so we'll lose that game anyway. So the Chargers win, the Saints win, the Patriots win, and the Bears finally get to the championship game. That defense is just unbelievable. Now, taking a look at who is the playoff teams, we have the Chargers winning in the conference and the Saints winning. Just like my prediction for the best teams, I had the Saints and the Chargers in the Super Bowl, with the Saints winning the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl champions are the New Orleans Saints. If you hate me, you hate good football. I don't freaking know. But let's advance it, see what the actual scores were, and then, we'll get on for... Okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, It happens. We have accidents sometimes. 28-24, that's a very good game there, because I do think it would be a defensive battle. So let's take a look at the wild card round. Chiefs win by 11. Bears win by 2. That's very accurate. I think Cleveland would put a smokage on the Ravens. Very good game there. I like the Sims so far. I think the Chargers would not be able to hold them. I know they have a good defense, but they're not holding the Chiefs to 9. Saints, I think the Packers would get 17 or 20. Patriots, that's a close one. I think Browns maybe 4 to 7 less. And then the Bears are not putting up 42 points. So there's that. That is my prediction video for the entirety of the 2019 NFL season. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Hopefully the likes are at least 51% in our favor. If you did like this video, maybe leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Twitter at Jeromepkr. If you guys want to see more NFL stuff, let me know. Should I do a weekly Packers review video series? I don't know if I'd really want to do something like that, but we'll see. Maybe I will. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Maybe watch my NBA 2K20 content this year. I'm not sure how much I'm going to upload of it, but you best believe Madden is still going to be coming out aplenty. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys come back for the next video. But until next video, see ya!